Hello, this is Dr. O, Making Math Easy. Welcome to Lesson 1 of my series on fractions, equivalent fractions. A fraction is a portion or part of a whole. It tells us how many parts of a whole we have. In this first picture, we have a rectangle that is divided into 4 equal parts. One part is shaded. We have one shaded part out of 4 parts that make up a whole. So we're going to write this fraction as 1 out of 4. This is a visual of what 1/4 looks like. This is also a visual of what 1/4 looks like. We have one part shaded in the circle to 4 whole equal parts. In this picture, we have 3 identical circles. They're divided differently. However, all the parts are shaded. That means this shaded part is equal to the shaded parts here, is equal to the shaded parts here, which is equal to 1 whole. However, they are divided differently. We have 2 parts shaded out of 2 whole equal parts. In this one, we have 6 parts shaded out of 6 equal parts. And in this one, we have 8 parts shaded out of 8 equal parts. It's equal to 1. When the numerator and denominator are the same, a fraction is equal to 1. Here we have rectangles that are identical sizes. They're just broken down into different parts. If I shade this part of the first rectangle, I see that I have part out of whole, 1 part shaded out of 2 equal parts of the rectangle. If I go to the second rectangle and I want to shade the same exact amount, I would shade like this, and this time I would have 2 equal parts out of a whole of 4. Since we can easily see that the equal amounts are shaded, we can tell that these are equivalent fractions. Now, what happens when we don't have a picture? We have something like this. 1/2 is equal to something over 4. Now, I want to go back and I want to review what is our numerator and what is our denominator. The numerator is the number on top. The denominator is the number on the bottom. So if I have 1/2 is equal to 4, up here it says to convert a fraction to an equivalent fraction, you must use multiplication or division. So I can look and see from 2, I'm going up to 4. So I would multiply, and I know that 2 times 2 is going to give me 4. Now, what I do in the denominator, I must also do in the numerator. So I'm going to also multiply the numerator by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Therefore, you can see I have equivalent fractions. So 1/2 is going to be equal to 2/4. Let's look closer at this. I multiplied the numerator and the denominator both by 2. 2 over 2, it's what we talked about earlier, is the same as 1. So let's look at why I can do this. We're going to look at the multiplicative identity property. The reason I can multiply 1/2 by 2 over 2 is because of this property, the multiplicative identity property. It states that the property, which is the answer in multiplication, of any number is 1, which 3 times 1, of course, is 3. 1/2 times 1 is equal to 1/2. So any number multiplied by 1 is itself. So if I look back at what I just did, 2 over 2 is like 1. So 1/2 times 1 would give me 2/4, or another representation of what 1/2 is. And these two are equivalent fractions. Let's look at one more example. Okay, 3/6 is equal to something over 2. Now I know I'm going down, so I know I'm going to need to divide. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. What I do in the numerator, I must do in the denominator or vice versa. So I divide by 3 here, which gives me 1.